Welcome to Work the Talk, conversations with industry leaders. I'm your host, Asta Sharma, and today we have the privilege of speaking with an esteemed guest, Colonel Rahul Chauhan. With him, we will be touching upon the topic of workplace security, and that too, much in depth. Colonel Chauhan is a seasoned professional with a remarkable career spanning over 2 decades in the Indian Army and the corporate world. Currently serving as the Chief Security Officer at Adani Group, he brings a wealth of experience in security operations. Colonel Chauhan's achievements include overseeing security planning and project management for numerous greenfield and brownfield projects, as well as managing security operations for corporate offices and diverse business units. He has a keen focus on integrating the latest in technology to enhance proactive security measures and drive operational efficiency. Recognized for his leadership and commitment to excellence, Colonel Rahul Chauhan has received multiple accolades for his outstanding contributions in both the military and the corporate sectors. His passion for continuous learning, artistic pursuits, and outdoor activities adds depth to his versatile personality. Welcome, Colonel Chauhan. We are stoked to have you here.
Thank you so very much, Asta. Very kind of you to say so kind words. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, Colonel Chauhan. We feel there's a lot to learn from you, which is why we don't want to waste any time and we want to dive right in. And my first question to you is, as a chief security officer overseeing security operations across various industries and locations, how do you approach developing a comprehensive security strategy that caters to the unique needs of each business while maintaining a cohesive approach?
So, Asa, I must tell you that I'm looking after multiple business. All these are growing. That means emerging businesses at Adani.
Yeah.
So it is into various fields. It's a big conglomerate. So I've been entrusted with the responsibility to incubate the security part of it for the emerging businesses like data center, reality, and few others. Now, every business has got its own peculiarity in terms of how it functions and what kind of risk it has. The security or the risk of a data center cannot be compared with what is there in the reality sector. Now, a data center has got maybe 7 layers of security, and a simple security incident can lead to a big penalty.
Yeah.
However, in reality, probably the work goes on for about 3-4 odd years, and it is in stages it gets developed. Firstly, we have the land parcel, the security threats and risks that's different. Then the sales office comes up, then the buildings start getting constructed, then finally it is handed over to the RWA. At each stage, the security risks keep changing. So therefore, it is we cannot have a standard guideline for all the business. And especially for a person like me who is handling multiple business security, it becomes more important to understand how the business runs. So that is the first thing. We have to make a comprehensive strategy, and finally, if you want to have foolproof security, the best thing and the first thing is to understand the business.
Yeah.
So as soon as we understand the business, yes, this is a data center. It will go into from construction to final product. It will be into number of phases. So then you carry out the risk assessment. As I said, it will move through number of stages by the time finally it comes into operational. I'm talking about a greenfield project. And subsequently, I'll talk about the operational or maybe the brownfield or those kind of projects. So in greenfield, various stages, I'll have to carry out the risk assessment every time it passes one stage. And based on that risk assessment, we identify the vulnerability, the threats, which that particular asset has. So when we compile all this, there's a clear matrix we have. And I'm sure all the businesses, wherever the security professionals are, they'll make that matrix. And based on the matrix, we identify what all is already there at the site, if it is a brownfield site, or if it is a greenfield site. Of course, the entire security planning goes from a scratch.
Yeah.
So after identifying whatever is required, we go to the business, we discuss with them, we try to understand from them whether all the risk or the certain risks are acceptable to them. Because if we start giving solution to all the risks, it may not be viable for the business. So if business is planning to earn 1,000 odd rupees, And if we propose a solution which is 990 rupees for security, so it is bound to fail.
Yeah.
So it is very important to go to the management and identify that what all risk is acceptable to them. So whatever is not acceptable, we create an entire comprehensive, cohesive plan, and we put up the solution to business for the final approval. So that is how we go in a stepwise, that how exactly what kind of a security infrastructure will come. Nowadays, you will understand that the entire security is moving away from gun guards and gates. It is finally, most of the processes are getting automated.
Yeah.
So that also becomes a very important part of what project we are planning for the security, establishing the security.
Yeah.
That is how we go about it.
So is training and education also an important part in terms of the implementation of any plan through a site? And does the level of training vary from say a particular business unit to the other?
So yes, of course. Now, what happens when you implement all the security processes, the assets? Then it becomes important for not only to train our own security professionals, all those people who are deployed on the ground, but also it becomes important for educating or spreading the awareness to all the employees.
Yeah.
Because when you make a standing operating procedure for a security, then unless the people know about it, they'll not follow it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you educate those employees, they're bound to follow it. And if they are not following it, probably we can escalate the matter. Similarly, nowadays, earlier the guards used to be maybe 10th pass. So it was all about showing a ID badge by the employee to the guard and moving inside. Now we are automating everything. So if we are automating anything to operate those systems, we require guards on the ground to be educated.
Yeah, that's true.
These are the two major aspects for the education and awareness about it.
And what about scalability? So say you are picking up a technology for a particular business unit. How do you map for scalability? Do you prefer keeping a single technology vendor that is used across locations? Or does it, so basically, is it a hub and spoke model? Or every unit decides on their own vendor, implements their own strategies? How is it that you go by it?
So like if I'm handling about 6 odd businesses, and every business has got its own security systems. You can say in a data center, we have an entire cohesive system where all the systems are talking to each other. I'm talking about the video management system, the visitor management system, the access control. They all are talking to each other.
Yeah.
So if we've got a common platform there, then probably in all data center, that platform will be used. However, in other businesses, like reality, anything which is very costly, it is not maybe viable for a reality business, because after 5 years, that asset will be handed over to the RWA.
Yeah.
So anything which is permanent, we have a particular system. Anything which we are going to hand over, probably we have a different system which we are putting it there. So as per business, this is what we are doing.
Okay. One more important aspect that I want to touch upon is communication. Now, given most of the security measures traditionally are seen to be slightly restrictive for the people, right? Now, while they are very important because it is making a premises very secure, how do you ensure that elegance comes into the security aspect, and how do you communicate with your people, the people who are adopting that and the people who are going to be a part of this entire process? How is it that you communicate to them that it becomes easier for them to adopt it as well and it does not become restrictive?
So to be very frank, the security is not liked by any of the employees.
Yeah.
So from the time you enter the gate and by the time you go out, probably you'll have to follow a number of protocols.
Yeah.
People are not by nature, only people are not ready to accept that somebody is monitoring them, or so somebody is stopping them at a particular place, or forcing them to show their badges.
Yeah.
So it becomes important for all the security professionals, especially those the guards, I'll say, who
Yeah.
meet the people at each of the time. Now
Yeah.
we've got number of stakeholders which come to a particular site. They are from the top management to the people who are visiting from outside to our
Yeah.
own vendors, we can say, and of course the employee, and finally the laborer. So
Yeah.
anybody who is coming inside and going out, it is taking image or maybe how that industry is. He carries that image from there after meeting that card. So it becomes important for us as soon as they come to a site and wherever the badge is handed over, the
Yeah.
ID badge,
Yeah.
there only we educate them that how exactly our site is, premises are, and are the front of desk officers who are there. Uh, they tell them all the protocols. I'm
Yeah.
talking about all those who are coming from outside. Of course, for people who are there inside, that means the employees,
Yeah.
we have their induction program where we tell them all the protocols. And through the mail and through the number of flyers and spotlights, we keep sharing with them what are the best practices and how the security will or is implemented at a particular site.
Are you looking at technology to solve this friction? Like, because there is undoubtedly, and that's what I've also seen with my conversations, is that people don't like security measures. And as you said, it becomes restrictive for them. How is it that it becomes frictionless? And our companies, and specifically, and I think this is going to be a top-down approach where large-scale companies who believe that people experiences matter, those are the companies that start picking up technology which starts making it very, very frictionless, right? So in your, because given you might be talking to a lot of people within the security circle of different companies as well, um is that even a topic of contention? Are senior leaders looking at this as a problem, or is it just here to stay?
So Asa, I'll say that things are changing big time, and with the kind of technology which is coming up, probably what you're saying that will move from the gun guards and gates. Probably it will be entirely automated, where the experience of a person will be very, very smooth.
Yeah.
As of now, we are for access control, we are changing from a guard standing at the gate. We are putting turnstile, camera, and of course biometric devices,
Yeah.
where he just shows himself in the facial recognition system, goes into the turnstile, he is entering inside.
Yeah.
Now we are going a notch further, where you mentioned it earlier that we have the cameras. We
Yeah.
don't require a turnstile. A camera will recognize whether he is a authorized person who is entering.
Yeah.
Not probably an alarm will be
Yeah.
there. For entering into the premises, we have the gates. Of course, oh, again, it is controlled through access control devices as of now. Probably subsequently, again, there'll be only camera. So people won't have
Yeah.
to put their badges or maybe show their face as far as at each of the gates. So
True.
that will give a little more convenience to the people, and probably they'll feel that they have come to a very secure environment without getting maybe checked again and again. So things are changing, and it will change big time.
Wow, wow, and it's good to hear. I think it's a welcoming news that everybody's thinking like that, and that's something that resonated in my earlier conversations with people as well. So happy this is happening. The big change is happening, and thank you so much. And I must say that a very comprehensive approach to building a security strategy is what you've given, and it's evident that aligning security measures with business objectives is the crucial first step, right? And this alignment from objective to strategy to action to result doesn't come easy, and it needs effective leadership and team management. I'm reminded of a fascinating stat which says that the strong leadership practices are 13 times more likely to outperform their competitors. And now, Colonel Chauhan, with your experience in both military and the corporate sectors, I'm curious to know what lessons you have learned about effective leadership and team management that have proven valuable in your current role.
So as the first and foremost, which I've learned probably from my days of school days to NDA to army days and right now here,
Yeah.
is that if you lead by example, that means if you're telling somebody or maybe your own soldier to climb 17,000 feet and fight with the enemy on a Kargil height,
Yeah.
unless you do it yourself, unless you're carrying that bag and load and the weapon yourself, it is very difficult to motivate those people.
True.
So I've realized over these 22 years, whatever I want people to do it for me or for the organization, probably they have to see me leading, they have to see me standing ahead and there. So this being the most important thing which I have learned. And as a leader, I realized that if you choose right people for the right task,
Yeah.
and if that person is doing it willingly rather than he being forced.
Yeah.
So that is again a very good trait of a good leader if he can identify who is good at what and give him that task. So task will finish early and it will be a very good result which will be produced. Then I again believe that if you're organized, if you have a plan in hand that is mid-term, short-term, long-term, I've already spoken before about this.
Yeah.
So if you organize this way, if you have the targets in place, if you know that what are the milestones to reach those targets in between milestones, it becomes very easy. And same thing I did when I was commanding my battalion. I wanted my battalion to be best in that particular region. And again, I had the same kind of matrices made for myself and for my team. And we did win a few awards. So I think these are few things which are very, very dear to me as a leader.
How about diversity? Now, security as a sphere, I feel it is a male dominant, teams is what I've seen. Even in my own interactions, whenever I do visit offices, I do see it is heavily male dominant. Are you seeing it changing? Is diversity coming into the sphere of security per se? And how important do you feel is it to build diverse perspectives within the security teams of companies?
I don't feel about the diversity. Anybody who is good enough and he or she is raising up a hand and saying that I want to come and embrace this particular field, I think we should welcome.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of lady officers who have joined our organization and they're joining other side also in security. And at the ground level also, there are a number of people, there are a number of girls or the ladies, they are ready to go and rough it out with the man.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are encouraging it back.
So my question is slightly on the need perspective. And let me just explain how. So in one of the, and I think I even told you earlier in one of our earlier conversations, we have a client and they are very, they really want to take care of their female employees who are leaving late and ensure that their safety is there. Now, the thought that the safety of female employees is required after a particular hour, all of that comes into play when maybe there are voices that are there that talk about this, right? And this is how the needs of a diverse, given security teams are mapping the needs of a diverse group of employees, right? So how does this voice of an employee or the need of an employee get translated into the security operations? How does that happen?
Of course, I told you before that while we are planning any security plan for any business, we identify the kind of risk it poses are there. Then we plan it. If we identify that because of the gender diversity, we have a particular threat or a risk, we plan for it. So,
all right. So it starts at the planning phase itself.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. Because subsequently, if you do something, it is retrofitting, which costs money and probably because most of there are three things involved while planning. One is the process, one is people, and one is technology. So in the beginning itself, you've got a framework ready, probably using these three. And most importantly, processes. So if your processes are right, probably you can save on the manpower, that is people, and on the technology as well.
Correct. Yeah, very rightly said. What does continuous improvement, how does that factor in as a leader? How is it that you ensure that your teams are continuously improving? And, given you talk about technology quite a lot and you also do implement it. So how is it that you ensure that your teams are, getting to learn from you and your valuable insights on different fronts? How does that happen?
So continuous, the person who is not with the present world, probably lag behind. So anybody who's not learning or maybe continuously learning
Yeah.
or whatever having is happening in the environment, so he'll not be successful. I can
Yeah.
give my own personal example that when I was about to quit, I thought it will be prudent for me to understand how the industry works, how the business works, because army we are tuned to work in a particular way, and outside now I've realized that there's no change. We do the
Yeah.
same way whatever we used to do in the army. So I did project management certification. So then I came to the corporate. Then I realized I'm into security domain. I need to learn something before I start telling my subordinates to work in a particular way. So then I did my CPP certification, that is Certified Protection Professional.
Wow.
And thereafter, I realized that the security is moving from physical security towards more technical security. Then I realized, unless I learn it myself, how can I tell my subordinates or how can I guide them? So I did CISM certification, that is
Wow.
Certified Info Security Manager. Now I say if I have to improve the standard or maybe the level of competence of my team, again, I'll say I'll have to lead it by example. So now when I have done it, now I encourage them and I keep giving them tasks on a particular aspect and I keep guiding them. So that's why my team is also slowly and gradually they have started seeing me, and probably they'll follow me after some time.
Well, this is very, very interesting. And clearly you do prioritize innovation for yourself, for your team, for your company. And it's pretty evident. I think Adani is already paving the way to it. As we explore the integration of technology into security operations, I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts. Considering increasing adoption of IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning technologies, how do you envision integrating these advancements into security operations to enhance productivity measures, proactive security measures, reduce operational costs? Especially, I'm curious to know your thoughts on leveraging intelligent technologies like, say, facial recognition, which can eliminate bias, racial bias, and identity solutions that provide seamless security experiences. Please share your expertise on the matter. We definitely would like to hear.
Yeah, sure. So till some time back, probably we were looking security only for the forensic, you can say. An incident has happened and then we are investigating and then we are taking the correct.
Reactive.
Yeah, so it was a reactive security.
Yeah.
Now with the kind of systems which are coming in, even the dependence on a guard is reducing big time because he is also prone to make mistakes.
Yeah.
And with all these technology coming in, the plethora of, you can say, data is getting to security.
Yeah.
So if we can combine all these data, whichever is there, we can create, you can say, maybe a pattern that at what point of time the individual is coming, going, or maybe an incident pattern of incidents of 3 years. So we are going into that. So AI is also helping in a big time because now there is a, let's talk about the cameras. On the edge, we call it the analytics on the edge. That means on the camera only we have the AI. So there certain things get mapped at the camera itself, and it can give a proactive indication to our control room operator. Similarly, we have the analytics on the server itself. That means certain data is coming to server and it is getting processed, and then it is going to the control room operator. Just imagine earlier we used to have the about 400 odd camera being monitored by 1 or 2 control room operator. Is it humanly possible to see all those 400?
Certainly not. Yeah.
Not possible. So that's why now this new IoT devices which are coming, they are giving a proactive alarm to people.
Yeah.
Again, getting all this data together, we can establish the pattern, as I already said, and we can preempt that an incident might occur because of these patterns which happened maybe a year back.
Yeah.
So that is how things are improving, and we are moving more towards the proactive security rather than reactive.
That's very interesting. So what are the key trends that you are seeing? So I know the technology exists because we are a part of the system and we know we offer that technology, but what we're seeing is the uptake. Now, I want to understand as a trend, are you seeing that as an uptake, or is it still very far-fetched? And while people know and they want to move towards that, a lot of organizations are still comfortable using using the way things were happening, or given it is not a primary ask. What we have seen is that post-COVID, things have changed. And post-COVID, I think most of the companies have become much more people-centric, but that too from the experience front, not yet from the digital transformation within security front, right? How do you see, like, what should be the components of a company that starts looking at security and starts moving towards automated security, as you just said, right? So what are your thoughts there?
I told you before also, if you are dependent on guard, firstly, it is a OPEX model. That means every year you'll have to pay him.
Yeah.
So the option with any of the industry, with the kind of technology now, what we have, probably it was not there maybe 3-4 years back, but now we have.
Yeah.
So we have an option to go for the CAPEX model. That means put a one-time asset and then keep leveraging it, or probably we remain with the guard and then OPEX costing year on year.
Yeah.
Now all the industry have realized that threats and risk, or maybe security risk, will remain. You would have heard about 7 days back, there was an employee who took an appointment of CEO and MD at Bangalore. Then you know what happened. So these are things going to increase only. It is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Now the question with the industry will be whether they want that guard to stand. Of course, guard is not going anywhere. Probably out of 10 guards, 2 will still have to stand there to react in case a threat materializes. Otherwise, balance would be for 8 guards. Unless we automate, probably business will not be sustainable. So that is what my thinking is. And all the industry, probably in years to come, in next about 4 or 5 years, they'll embrace all these technologies, whatever is coming up.
And which ones do you think are the technologies that are being adopted the first, and which would take time amongst, say, access control, mobile-based access control, face-based access control, the AI on cameras that you mentioned, right? Again, thermal imaging cameras, sensors, occupancy sensors, all of that, right? A lot of technologies are there. First is, could you shed some light on these technologies? Because I'm sure our audiences would want to hear what is coming. And second is, what do you think as the near future, and what is eventual adoption that you see happening?
Okay, so security, I feel if you're talking about sequentially how the things are going to move, maybe which industry will embrace the first aspect. I'll say security is mostly about the access control. If you have got a good access control, probably you are making sure only authorized persons are entering the premises.
Correct.
So I see that most of the industry will firstly go for the access control system, which is based on biometrics. More importantly, it's a facial recognition system, which cannot, because a person cannot impersonate. He has to show his own face to enter those premises.
Correct.
So that will be first big change, where FRS, that is the facial recognition system, which will be used by all the industries all over the world. Then the second is, again, the cameras are right now, they are, I shouldn't be saying dumb camera, but they don't have analytics on them. They can only process the image and give it to the control room. So the second, I think it will be, all cameras will be AI. Now, any camera which is coming in the market, it has got the AI. But the person need to know its utilization, because as soon as you integrate it with your system, you have to activate the analytics on it. So all industry, I'm sure, going forward, whichever new camera they want to buy, they are going to buy a camera with the AI. So that will be second. And subsequently, we have the automated visitor management system. All big tech companies, they have all the systems already available. I'm talking about those companies which are yet to graduate towards the electronic security. Then go for visitor management. Then we have the material management. Again, we are going big time that all the material which is coming inside or going outside, it will all be automated. So human intervention will be limited to minimal. That is what I think is the future.
That's a beautiful future to have. So, again, I have a related question. In our talks, with multiple stakeholders within organizations, we've realized that whenever there is so greenfield projects work differently. That obviously they would want the latest technology coming in, and it is implemented. It's quite easy also. For brownfield projects, the question is that security infrastructure that has been placed, and like you talked about cameras, right? They're dumb cameras. So a lot of investment within capex has already happened, and that's large scale investment as well. And 90% of the organizations right now, they might have n number of offices already operational, and then few new offices coming up that are completely new age. The change management from old to new, from dumb to intelligent, right? That itself is not only time consuming, it is heavy on the pocket. It is, a lot of change management needs to happen. A lot of mindset change needs to happen, right? Because this is not a decision taken by one person. It is a decision taken by teams, not only one function, teams within different functions, right? How does that come into play? So say from a security point of view, something is very relevant and that needs to change. But there are from an IT point of view, or maybe from an admin point of view, or maybe from a people point of view, that change may or may not be the first priority, right? How do you manage that?
So business is all about money, isn't it? So even security, if we want to impress upon changing old system to bringing in a new system, if we can show the cost benefit analysis, if we do that, and if we can convince the management that going forward, if we change these cameras which are not AI based, probably to the cameras which are AI based, I'll be able to reduce this much of cost on the manpower. That is the way you can
productivity
convince.
Cost is what we save.
Yeah. So unless it is cost beneficial for a business, probably they will not change.
Yeah. And what about capex and opex? So what do you think people prefer more? Is it because, even if a long-term manpower, yes, the changes would happen across years, but maybe the cost of implementation today might be considerable given its capex, right? So how do managements look at that?
So management is ready to spend on the capex, but of course, going forward, they also look at the 5-year also. That down the 5-year, will it be beneficial to put a single guard, or it will be better to put one-time capex, and then maybe we can recover that cost within 3 years. So whatever is cost beneficial, they're going for that.
Yeah.
And with the new technology coming up, the overall cost of technology and the equipment as well, it is coming down drastically. So it is easier for us to convince the management that we need to change.
That's
and
true.
With the management also now becoming tech savvy, they are looking for these kind of solutions. They're happy for these kind of solutions rather than only going for gun guards and gates.
That's true. That's what even we are seeing, specifically new age companies and companies, even homegrown companies that are growing very fast. They are focusing on people and security quite a lot, and that was very refreshing. Even with our interaction with Adani, we felt that is definitely a strong point. And we saw your new office in Ahmedabad. And it's gorgeous. It's the way it is made. It shows that it is been made to take care of the people so that they feel amazing within that space. So kudos on that. And thank you so much. I think I've learned so much in this conversation. First is that by aligning security measures with business objectives is critical. Embracing technological advancements is critical. Fostering a culture of performance-driven excellence. Organizations can achieve heightened security, operational excellence, competitive edge in today's world. I think a lot to take back, and a lot to take back for our listeners as well. I'm grateful, Colonel Chauhan, that you shared your wisdom and provided valuable guidance that will undoubtedly shape my understanding of workplace security. And for all the people as well within this domain, I think it's going to be very important for them. Thank you so much. Thanks again.
Thank you, Asa. Thank you for giving me this platform to share my views. hopefully we'll take it forward.
Absolutely, we will. I think I'll keep coming back to you for more insights.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.